SGP race director Ollie Olsen shared a joke with Fredrik Lindgren as he presented him with the coveted championship leader's yellow jacket in Leszno. He becomes the first Swede to wear it since Tony Rickardsson back in 2005. Fast Freddy scored the most points in round one and has been on fire in the various international leagues, and it's a dream start for the 24-year-old. The young gun heads the leaderboard with 19 points after coming second in Prague. That's 7 more than the current world champ Nicky Pedersen after he failed to make the final. The Dane sits in 5th, 1 point behind Lee Adams and 2 behind third place Jason Crump. The new star of Speedway is, however, Emil Sayfutdinov. The Russian Revolution began from red after he launched himself like an intercontinental missile. Das Vidanya. Goodbye was said to the old guard of Crump and Adams, and after seeing off a challenge from Fast Freddy on the back straight, the Rusky was heading for the record books. His team watched on in disbelief as 19-year-old Emil crossed the line to become the youngest rider, the first from Russia, and the first man since the series began back in 1995 to win his maiden Grand Prix. A remarkable achievement and a fitting end to a night which saw the boy from Salavat take to the world stage without fear of the occasion or reputations of Speedway's elite. Sayfutdinov's win has certainly made the old guard sit up and pay attention. With the clock ticking on their GP careers, they all have to face the fact that the next generation of Speedway stars have arrived. So what do they make of the new kid from the block?
He's a pretty talented little kid, you know. He takes things in his stride. He doesn't get too stressed about it. I think probably the most important thing, he's got a great team around him, Tony's old mechanics and whatnot, so he's a great prospect.
He did really well, you know. He deserved that night. I mean, he was a clever guy in the semi-final. I heard he had some engine problems, and he dropped it into me, and the referee, he felt guilty about it and took him into the rerun. So, no, fair play to him, you know. I'd rather it was him than one of the other top boys.
He's going to be very good. We can all see that. You know, he's got a couple of very important years in front of him, of course, to get through and stay healthy and fit and all the rest of it, like we all have at that age. And I think it's great for Speedway because the old guys, you know, Greg and Lee and Thomas and myself, you know, we haven't got 10 years left. Somebody has to come along and take over at the top of Speedway, and it's great to see a few guys finally coming through.
This track is a favourite of Australian Lee Adams. He's ridden for Leszno for over a decade, and he's certainly the one to watch. The wily old fox put his insider knowledge to good use by winning the first European Grand Prix to be staged here last year. He saw off Greg Hancock and Nicky Pedersen. The king of Leszno delighted the home Polish fans to lift the silverware. He's hoping for a repeat performance in 2009.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? You know, we've been here 14 years, and yeah, you know, it's a track that I really enjoy. It's a real racer's track. Maybe a little bit different to normal, but you know, we should be able to adapt to it.
Our trip to Leszno in the west of Poland marks the second stop on the 11-round SGP Tour. It's one of the country's fastest growing towns with a population of over 70,000. Standing since 1393, it has a vibrant and bustling square with beautiful architecture and a cafe society which is a magnet for tourists and Speedway fans alike. The locals are proud of their heroes, and that includes their past Speedway champions. Alfred Smoczyk was the 1949 Polish champion, and the stadium's named in his honour. The fans dutifully came out in their thousands. Jarek Hampel, also a Leszno club rider, makes a return to GP action as the wild card. He made the final here last year. Polish god Golub is also keen to do well in front of the home crowd. And how could we forget Mr. Adams? Championship leader Freddy Lindgren watched on as world champion Nicky Pedersen took to the shell for Heat 1. And it was Danish delight for Pedersen with a perfect start. It was thumbs up, and that's his good one. Heat 2, and it was wildcard Jarek Hampel exciting the crowd, hitting the front ahead of Rune Holter, who saw off Chris Harris and Kenneth Bier. Round 1 winner Emil Sayfutdinov took the lead in Heat 3, closely followed by Thomas Golub. But it wasn't too long before the old maestro showed the youngster what riding in Poland was all about. Emil then got all in a spin and left Dulemek and Freddy Lindgren to fly by and collect the remaining points. Was the new sensation about to fall flat? Greg Hancock lined up against Gregor Valacek for Heat 4, and it was the American who cruised to victory, seeing off Jason Crump to boot. Andreas Jonsson battled past Valacek for a single point. And the Swede was out again in Heat 5, going ahead of that man Lindgren, who was having a nightmare and was passed by Chris Harris. He was also passed by Lee Adams, who was surprisingly at the back. For Jarek Hampel, yellow was a gate too far as Greg Hancock stormed into the lead. Sayfutdinov swept up the inside of Hampel for second spot. Anderson was left at the back, but Greg was off to a flyer.
American Greg Hancock, 2 starts, 6 points. What a way to start it off.
Heat 7, what a lineup this is. Just look at it across the grid. Thomas Golub goes off the inside in red. Not surprisingly, loads of support here in Leszno for the legend. Jason Crump goes off gate 2 in blue, the 2-time world champion. Rune Holter off gate 3 in white. And Nicky Pedersen off the outside, the reigning champion, in the yellow helmet colour. Here we go with Heat 7. The clash of the big guns. The green line is on. And away they go with Jason Crump hitting that first turn magnificently in the blue helmet colour. Golub is in red, and look at Pedersen as well. Round the outside in yellow, they're wheel to wheel, and that is a tough third turn. Golub goes wide, Pedersen holds the line, and Pedersen, oh, what a move up the inside. This is breathtaking Speedway.
Well, Nicky Pedersen's not done. It's tough to get off that outside gate. He had second in the race there, and he was working it hard, but Golub is working that outside now, getting his wheels, looking over his shoulder. Where are you, Nicky?
And Pedersen has got it all on to see off the challenge of Holter at the same time as closing in on Golub. How close is that? Oh, drama for Golub.
We both said it at the same time, Nigel. That's correct. Drama. Something's going on with Thomas's bike. Nicky's got that second now. He's working it.
Golub will be gutted with that for sure, but this man is looking supreme. Jason Crump, twice world champion, has cut down on his schedule this year to enhance his Grand Prix prospects. And what a race that is for the man in blue. 5 points out of 6, but Golub, a frustrated and angry man. And the Polish fans disappointed with that. Crump, the race winner then, 3 points for him. Second place went to Nicky Pedersen, the reigning champion. Third place was Rune Holter. And Thomas Golub didn't finish the race because of those mechanical gremlins and problems between Pedersen and Golub. Pedersen has thrown his glove in anger at Thomas Golub. Jason Crump doesn't want to know about it, quite right too, and Golub is not giving him his glove back.
He sure says give that back, and now there's conflict between the mechanics.
And that is an important part of Nicky Pedersen's makeup. The glove, of course, to protect the hand where he's got a problem with his fingers, of course, and a broken thumb. He could do with it back.
Well, they've had a little bit of conflict over the time, but if Golub can have anything from him, we did get 3 points, but he got his glove.
Pretty tame affair, heat number 8 in comparison to the previous outing. Sebastian Ulemek wrapping up 5 points out of 6 with a fine victory for him. Kenneth Pierre close by in the blue helmet colour, both qualifiers. And Gregor Valacek in third place, pipping Scott Nichols. Another disappointing race for the Great Britain star at the back there. Scott Nichols back in the pits, a disappointed man, wondering what's going on and which way to turn next. This is how the standings were after 2 rounds of races each. Then Greg Hancock unbeaten on 6 points out of 6 with Pedersen, Crump and Ulemek all on 5. Lower down the order, Emil Sayfutdinov, winner first time out in the Grand Prix in Prague, 2 points so far. And championship leader, young Swede Freddie Lindgren, only 1 point. Plenty to think about for him. Heat number 9 it is then. Thomas Golub, the man in yellow, looking to recover from the disappointment of that previous outing. 3 Polish riders here. Jarek Ampel goes off the inside in red. Gregor Valacek, gate 2 in blue. Lee Adams on his home Polish track in white off gate 3. And Thomas Golub going off the outside in yellow. Jason Crump looking on. It's going well for him so far tonight. But Golub will be wound up here to do well in heat number 9. You can be sure of that. And away from the start, Gregor Valacek makes a dream start off gate number 2. Golub coming through now down that back straight. And Lee Adams goes into that third turn. Tries to get some drive. He can't find it. And Golub hangs on into second place. The lead is with Valacek. Bit of a surprise here.
Well, look at Golub working the racetrack. He went up real high, squared the corner off, just took care of Gregory. Just do that. Look at Lee Adams following him through. Lee Adams knows how to get around this racetrack, Nigel, and he's working it just as much as Golub is. Golub's looking left just to see where he's going to be. How far does he have to reach it?
That was a great ride from Golub, and now Valacek and Adams wheel to wheel. Some great speedway in this one with Golub the leader. Adams will work it hard. He'll wind on the gas and try and pressurize Golub as much as possible. Now, what can Adams do? He cuts up the inside. Has he done enough to get a better of Thomas Golub? What a race we've got here. Adams cuts up the inside. Golub tries to return the compliment right down to the wire. Adams is the man in heat number 9. He did it the hard way. Victory for Adams. Second place was Gollum. Third was the one-time leader, Gregor Valacek, and Jarek Campbell at the back. What a race that was.
Yeah, Lee Adams sure showed his track craft right there, getting another 3 points to his total, his first win.
Jason Crump made a great start, 5 points out of a possible 6, and he made no mistake at all in heat number 10 from the start. A wonderful ride from the Australian ahead of Hans Anderson and Chris Harris.
Jason, speed doesn't look to be a problem for you tonight.
No, it seems to be going pretty well so far. You know, 3 races down, still a long way to go, and the big stuff's coming up later on. So feels pretty good at the moment, but we've got to stay doing what we're doing to make sure we're in there at the end.
Into the second half of the qualifying races here in Leszno, heat number 11, and what a lineup again here. Kenneth Pierre going off the inside, the dynamic Dane in red. Gate 2 in blue, the championship leader ahead of tonight. Fredrik Lindgren, only 1 point so far. The reigning champions off 3, Nicky Pedersen, and the leader on the night, Greg Hancock off the outside.
Yeah, he's right up against that fence, packing down that dirt, see if he can get some extra drive, but Nicky's going to be off gate 3, as we see there. He's going to shoot straight into that corner.
Heat number 11 it is. A great lineup again, and can Hancock get there? No, he can't from the start in yellow. He's going to be beaten for the first time tonight, perhaps. Pierre is the leader, and what a battle for second place. And Hancock comes around Lindgren. Nicky Pedersen's in the mix as well. It's all very tight there, Sam.
They sure had him. They moved it all around on that first corner. Kenneth Pierre now leading the race, but on the outside, Greg Hancock's getting his wheels line. Kenneth lifts. Greg gets that extra drive down the straightaway, just going into the bottom corner. And as they come off, will he come out first? It's looking good.
What a ride from Greg Herbie Hancock in the lead in yellow. Pierre second, and Pedersen now coming around the outside of Lindgren. A real battle at the back, and he comes up the inside now, trying to challenge for third place. Lindgren locks up. Pedersen is looking good for a point as Lindgren comes back to try and return the compliment.
Well, Nicky Pedersen shut the nose right off of Lindgren coming into that corner. Greg's right out in front. Kenneth is holding on to that second, but it's all about Nicky. What's he doing in third place?
Well, Pedersen holds that third place, but Greg Hancock makes it 3 wins out of 3, 9 points out of 9. He is top of the leaderboard. Magnificent. Another awesome race there. Greg Hancock, 3 wins out of 3, rolling back the years. Kenneth Pierre, second place, with Nicky Pedersen third. The reigning world champion will be disappointed with that. Fredrik Lindgren trailing in at the back.
Well, when the World Championship's going your way, especially in the second round, you can be happy. Both these boys look really comfortable, and Greg's still smiling, as it says on the back of his helmet.
Heat number 12 was a good one for Andreas Jonsson, also from Sweden. He got off to a good start alongside Emil Sayfutdinov, the man in white, the teenage sensation, who battled through into second place. But it was a poor ride again from Scott Nichols, who battled with Rune Holter. Holter actually came up the inside to steal third place from Scott Nichols, who stayed on 0 points from 3 rides. Andreas Jonsson's pit crew happy with that after a relatively poor first round, 7 points out of 9. Greg Hancock, 9 points out of 9. Magnificent display so far then. Jason Crump nicely tucked in second, with AJ third in 7. Adams and Pedersen 6 points apiece. Lower down the order then, the battle is hotting up for 8th place and a semi-final spot. Scott Nichols, though, well adrift and wondering just where it's all going wrong. He's finding it tough, but so is a home track specialist.
To be honest, mate, it's tough out there. I got a little bit of clutch drag and not really making clean starts, so that's I'm making hard work of it. I'm out after every track raid, which is pretty tough. It's pretty wet and slimy. But anyway, you know, that's life. We just got to get on with it, make sure we make the semis and make the most of that.
I mean, speed's not a problem. It's just getting to the getting the front, getting some fresh air is a problem.
Yeah, you know, if I can get on that dirt line, we'll be fine. But it's just not happening. I'm having to do it from the back and chew a lot of dirt. But as I say, mate, we'll just keep grinding away.
Well, if the established stars are finding it tough, what about the young guns? Emil Sayfutdinov, who won the previous round, of course, the 19-year-old, wondering what it's all about, as is Fredrik Lindgren, the championship leader. Both young riders being brought down to earth with a bump. Can they bounce back? Well, Welcome back to the FIM Automoto European Grand Prix here in Leszno in Poland. A partisan crowd enjoying their speedway as they always do here. And what a lineup we've got in heat number 13 with an unbeaten rider up against a home favourite. That's the unbeaten man, Greg Hancock in white, and Leszno's very own Lee Adams will be going off the outside gate. Thomas Golub looks on, and what a lineup it is. Rune Holter off the inside in red then from Poland, and gate number 2's had a good night tonight, Sebastian Ulemek. Greg Hancock 9 points out of 9, gate 3. Lee Adams off the outside.
Yeah, tough call for Lee Adams on the outside. They've watered the track. He's complained about that a little bit, having draw number 1, but I'm sure he'll let the clutch out just as quick as anybody.
Big race here then, and away from the start, it's Sebastian Ulemek. What a dream getaway it is for him. Hancock is second right now with Rune Holter third, and Lee Adams not happy with the way this is going. He's at the back, the man who rides for Leszno, of course, week in and week out. Plenty of support for him here, but what a ride this is from Sebastian Ulemek.
Yeah, it's tricky conditions out there. I see Greg kind of wondering if he should go out or in to try and chase down Ulemek. Ulemek's disturbing his maximum points, but look at Lee Adams in the yellow. They're trying as hard as to get past Rune Holter.
Yeah, good ride here from Sebastian Ulemek then with Hancock, who looks like he's going to be beaten for the first time tonight, but in the context of the meeting overall, 2 points will still do nicely for him as Adams dives up the inside of Rune Holter. A battle for a point to the back. Third place on the line here. Adams trying absolutely everything here.
Yeah, he's really working it. He's trying to get whatever he can out of it. Is he going to have to settle for the last place as Ulemek is leading this race?
Yeah, Sebastian Ulemek looking pretty comfortable and takes the checkered flag. Hancock is beaten for the first time tonight. Ulemek celebrates in style, and Greg Hancock gets a couple of points towards a semi-final place. Ulemek the winner then. Second place was Greg Hancock, 11 points all told. Rune Holter was third, and trailing at the back was Lee Adams.
Well, I can tell you, Ulemek will be smiling because that's added 3 more points to him, but it was really tough for the big guns. Greg Hancock off of 3 in the white helmet there, works the mid-track. Lee Adams suffers it, goes right up to the high line. There's no traction out there, leaves a big door open as they go into the corner. And just look at Lee trying to work it. As the track dries out, the boys are spinning around that inside. The back tires start working, but he had to settle for that last spot.
Well, Sebastian Ulemek always has a smile on his face, and a particular reason for that in that particular race. Absolutely superb ride from Ulemek. Hancock, though, top of the leaderboard, 11 points out of 12, on his way to the semi-finals already, with Crump and Ulemek up there in third now. That was a big 3 points from him, and a battle for 8th place very much on. Lee Adams passing on a few hints to Jason Crump about where it all went wrong.
Well, I just think he's probably explaining that there's nothing out there when they water that racetrack. You can see from the evidence of the mud on his leg there, it's a little bit too wet after they grade it.
No problems, though, for Seb Ulemek in that race. And who will come out on top here in Heat 14 with Hans Andersen from Denmark going off the inside in red. Only 3 points so far, so a big race for him needed. Andreas Jonsson off gate 2 in the blue helmet colour. Going off gate 3 is Kenneth Pierre with Golub off the outside in yellow. Golub leading points as well here. And it's a very tight first turn. And Golub will charge through the middle here as Andersen has the lead. Oh, what a ride from Thomas Golub. Where on earth did he find that from? That is sensational from Thomas Golub. And battle for second as well. Hans Andersen closes the door. What a race here.
They're all desperate, so that first corner was pretty critical. As they were in there trying to find a place, they moved right out of the way, and Golub had his wheels in line, and he's gone straight to the outside. Look at Hans Andersen. He's desperate for the points as well, so he's going to work right up the inside. Can he pass Golub? Tall order because he's being pressured by Andreas Jonsson straight by him.
5 points from 3 rides before this one. Thomas Golub knew the importance of this race. As he looks over his shoulder, he'll see that Andreas Jonsson is not far behind him after battling through against Hans Andersen. Kenneth Pierre is at the back right now, but this man looking smooth, looking stylish, with Andreas Jonsson trying the inside line now. Thomas Golub winds it on, and Thomas Golub takes a significant step towards the semi-finals. He's put himself on 8 points. That is a massive race for Thomas Golub, who is a true Speedway legend, of course. He's the winner of that one, 3 points to him. Andreas Jonsson second. Third went to Hans Andersen, who started well in that one. And Kenneth Pierre trailing at the back. But Thomas Golub will be a relieved man. A big, big race win for him.
It's only the second time somebody from that outside gate position was able to take 3 points in a race. Golub goes straight up there, but look at the carnage happening on the inside. Andreas pushes Kenneth wide and leaves a hole, and there comes Golub straight by Hans Andersen as they go into turn 3. As the race unfolds, it's all about trying to score points, and Andreas puts it down, and he starts working. Look at Golub using every inch of the racetrack to drive that bike forward, and he goes for 3 points, just as it says on the back of his bib.
Big ride it was then for Thomas Golub, and now look how it's shaping up. Hancock the leader, with Jonsson moving into second spot. Crump, Golub and Ulemek all on 8, but Crump has a race in hand, of course, and the battle for the semi-finals hotting up nicely with several riders on 4 points.
Good race this one will be. Nicky Pedersen in blue needs points. He needs to get it going. Can he take advantage of it?
Valacek goes off the inside in red. Gate 2 in blue is Nicky Pedersen, 6 points so far. Emil Sayfutdinov, gate 3 in white. Chris Harris going off the outside.
I would say this is probably one of Nicky's easiest race. He must make the start.
Green lights on then. The bikes roar, and away they are from the start, and Pedersen hasn't quite made it up. Some bruises galore, no doubt, and that is a nasty spill as Sayfutdinov hits the fence.
I tell you what, there's a little bit of tapping there going in the corner. Nicky was pushed a bit offline as he went into the corner, lost control of his bike, and definitely took this guy down.
It's a nasty one, and here we see a perfect view of it once again. How tight is that?
Yeah, it looks like he tried to get over Greg, but he couldn't, and it threw him offline. And Emil was suffered the worst scenario here. As he was on the outside minding his own business, he got collected and lost control of the bike straight in the air fence.
Perfect views. And a perfect summing up of how dangerous Speedway is. Bang in the first turn.
Look at that. Nicky has nowhere to go but to move offline. As he does, he just collects him out. Emil just lifts the bike up and losing. He's just a passenger at this point. Straight in the fence. Ouch. Jams his bike. Not good. I hope he's okay.
Those Speedway machines are heavy, folks. It's a tough sport. And Gregor Valacek will be hoping to avoid...
Nicky is excluded from that.
Controversy galore. Nicky Pedersen will not score a point in this race. He's disqualified from the restart, and he is making gestures to the referee, which will do himself no favours. And in that restart, Emil Sayfutdinov dusted himself down superbly, the talented teenager, whilst the other 2 guys in there, Valacek and Harris, were worrying about each other. Sayfutdinov dived up the inside and gave himself a great opportunity of qualifying for the semi-finals after winning the opening round in Prague. Nicky Pedersen, though, had to watch it all from the sidelines.
Very frustrating to have to watch probably your easiest heat of the night, just sitting watching it.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, what more can you do? I mean, I want to go up and race my bike, and the ref got the opportunity to at least take 4 riders into the rerun again in first turn. But that's completely wrong. Absolutely. I mean, you see Valacek in the rerun again. He never turns. He made a start again, and he pushed all the way Chris Harris' bum out of second bend, so he didn't have his mind in turning at all. So, I mean, I don't know what the referee did there.
Well, controversy in Leszno. Jason Crump coming up here in yellow. He's had a good night so far, and another terrific lineup. Fredrik Lindgren off the inside, though, hasn't had the best of nights. A learning curve for him, I'm sure. Goes off the inside, only 1 point. A handful off gate 2, 4 so far. A dreadful night for Scott Nichols, and Jason Crump goes off the outside in yellow. Nichols' pit crew wondering where it's all going wrong, wondering if he can at least trouble the scorers here. The worst Grand Prix this man has had for a number of years. Heat number 16 it is then, and what a fine start it is from Jarek Hampel in the blue helmet colour. Watch out for Crump in yellow, though. Dives through the middle. Oh, that was a wonderful move from Jason Crump, and he's coming through to take the lead, is he? Has he got the drive as Hampel waited on? And what a performance that is from Jason Crump. Lindgren is third. Nichols at the back once again. But what a race here as Hampel comes back for more.
Unbelievable. I expected Hampel to get out of the start. He's quite quick, and he's proved his point by getting in front of Jason. Jason's muscled his way back in front of him, and then it switches again. The race is on.
Terrific ride from Jarek Hampel. He really is as good as any other Grand Prix rider on his day. Has desperate ambitions to get back to be a full-time GP rider, and you can see why on this form. Jason Crump battled through the hard way. He'll be happy with a couple of points though, because he knows it's 2 more towards the semi-finals. 2 points will do him here, take him on to double-figure points with Fredrik Lindgren in 3rd, but Scott Nichols' misery continues as Jarek Hampel celebrates a fine victory. No wonder the home fans are happy. Jarek Hampel of Poland has delivered the goods magnificently in Heat 16. 3 points for him then. 2nd place went to Jason Crump of Australia. 3rd was Fredrik Lindgren, only his 2nd point of the night, and Scott Nichols yet to score. Jubilation in the Hampel pit crew then, quite rightly so, and that was a magnificent Speedway race.
Hampel makes a start off gate 2 in the blue helmet, pushes up high, leaves the door open. Crumpy comes back. As he goes to the corner, he's got to deal with Freddie Lindgren, but he's got his sights set straight on going up high, and he puts the pressure on once again and passes Hampel. Look at Freddie coming in there, getting in the mix as well. Hampel squares it off, gets his wheels in line. He looks over his quick, sharp to the right there, sees that it's Crumpy, goes in the corner. Crumpy now has to answer to that, but he doesn't do it.
Jarek, that could prove to be a very important heat win in Heat 16 for you.
Right, that was very important hit for me because I need scoring the points if I want to go in semi-final. Now I've got a chance to go in, but the next one is also very important as well for me now.
Well, going into the last 4 races of the qualifying stages for the semi-finals, Hancock, Crump and Jonsson all set fair to go through to the semi-finals. 8 points looks about good enough, perhaps. And Lee Adams is hanging on in the top 8. Pedersen just outside. Scott Nichols won't be in the semi-finals. A miserable night for the top Great Britain rider. And Fredrik Lindgren, series leader before this meeting, struggling. And Lee Adams watching track watering, watching track grading, because he knows he's out in the next race. Welcome back to the FIM Automoto European Grand Prix in Leszno, Poland. We're up to a crucial phase of the meeting now, the last 4 races where the riders have an opportunity now with 1 ride each to qualify for the semi-finals, including Lee Adams, a Leszno track specialist, needs points and his pit crew know it. 6 points so far. He needs a win here, really, to secure a semi-final place. Maybe a 2nd would do it. He's off the inside. Kenneth Pierre goes off gate 2 in the blue helmet. Jason Crump, 10 points already through the semi. And off the outside, Emil Sayfutdinov needs a point or 2 here, Sam.
Yeah, and a tough gate, especially when you got a charger of Jason Crump right on the inside of you. It's all about getting to that first corner.
Heat 17 and they're away with Crump off gate 3 making a good one. Adams is going to be passed and he's going all the way to the back. And look at Sayfutdinov, the new sensation, with Crump coming up the inside in white now. Sayfutdinov has gone wide. Adams is in the back. Pierre is the man in blue. They're all bunched up here, but Jason Crump has the lead, and a battle for 2nd with Sayfutdinov and Pierre as Adams hangs on grimly.
I tell you what, Sayfutdinov is definitely going to school in this race. He made a good first corner and he got himself in front, but Jason took it and Lee Adams followed through, but the race is still going on. Look at Kenneth Pierre putting the pressure. Lee Adams is back up the inside. Can he make it work?
2nd place might give him a chance, Lee Adams. He needs to get there. Oh! Drama in the extreme. Heat 17 are coming together between Adams and Pierre, and I fear that could be the end of the night for Lee Adams.
You just don't want that to happen at such a crucial time. Lee Adams went in there desperate to try and get in there. I'm sure he didn't want to go that far, but the victim was Kenneth Pierre, and I'm sure the referee's going to say, sorry, Lee, you're done.
Both riders hit the deck here as Adams almost goes square there, and for a rider of his caliber, he surely would not have meant to have done that, of course, but it looks as though it's going to cost him. It has. Adams is out of the restart. Adams' night is over. He goes home with just 6 points to his name, and a bitter blow for the Leszno favourite. Sayfutdinov cooling down, Pierre gathering his thoughts.
Lee, no complaints about the decision?
Oh, no, mate, I just come in pretty hot there and just picked up a little bit of dirt, and that's it, you know. Really disappointing, but that's the way it goes, mate. That's racing. We just got to park this one and get on with the next one.
Well, in the restart, Jason Crump went through to the semi-finals with some comfort. A fine victory for Crump with Adams out of the way, one of his chief contenders, one of his chief rivals, and Crump made no mistake. With Sayfutdinov battling through into second place, that was enough for him. Bier in third, and Crump in style on his way through. 13 points for Jason Crump then. Greg Hancock on 11. Jonsson and Sayfutdinov on their way through to the semi-finals. Golub and Ulemek looking good. Adams still in the top 8, but surely about to dip out with Pedersen breathing down his neck. Hancock and Crump comparing notes. It's hard to imagine how they get on riding against each other. They're such good pals, but Nicky Pedersen, the reigning world champion, not a happy man. Heat number 18 it is then, a big race for all these riders, points on the line, and here we see the lineup. Fredrik Lindgren, who is unlikely to go through to the semi-finals tonight after a relatively disappointing night for the young man. Gate 2 in blue is Hans Andersen. Rune Holter, the only rider in this race with a real chance of getting through to the semis, off gate 3, and Gregor Valacek going off the outside. Heat number 18 it is then. But remember, even if you don't go through to the semi-finals, every Grand Prix point counts in this competition. So a big race still. Heat number 18. And with Lindgren and Andersen close together at the start there, that was almost drama. Lindgren coming through, but drops back to third now. And what a lead that is for Rune Holter. Where on earth did he come from? And Lindgren's dropping to the back. They're swapping places for fun here.
What a race, and it's all about right now. Rune Holter needs 3 points if he's going to have any chance of making the semi-final. This will bring his total up to 8, and that could just be the balance he needs to move forward to get into the final.
Fredrik Lindgren, leader going into this event, disappointing at the back. Battling with Gregor Valacek, but the lead up front is superb for Rune Holter. He came from absolutely nowhere. Hans Andersen is in second, and this is a big race for Rune Holter, remember. Going into that final lap, he is giving himself a real chance here now. Going down the back straight in heat number 18 as Lindgren just manages to avoid Gregor Valacek at the back. But Rune Holter gets the cheers of the Polish crowd. Victory for Holter in heat number 18. It was all very tense. It was all very tight in the early stages. But Rune Holter held his nerve. And Holter collects 3 big points there. Second place went to Hans Andersen of Denmark. Third was Gregor Valacek of Poland. And trailing in at the back was Fredrik Lindgren of Sweden. Lindgren's night is over. It's back to the drawing board for the next round of the Grand Prix in his home country.
You know, it's really good to see these guys out there having a good battle, but at the end of the day, if you don't have everything working your way, it makes it really tough. And on this big track, one of the best tracks in the world, I would say, I mean, it's so fun out there. Holter gets his wheels in line, hits that dirt, and just watch him accelerate. Right, squeezes past Hans Andersen. Hans is having a dreadful night as well. And at the end of the day, the only consolation out of it, there's still a guy in this race that has a chance to make the final.
Yeah, superb ride from Rune Holter, but Fredrik Lindgren is on a learning curve. He'll hope to bounce back in Gothenburg. Here's how the standings look then, with Jason Crump leading the way on 13, Hancock and Jonsson and Sayfutdinov on their way through, Golub, Ulemek and Holter, high hopes for them. Hampel now on 7, with Pedersen on 6 points. Heat number 19, a technical fault at the start, saw Jonsson lead the charge through the tapes, and all 4 riders were recalled for the restart of an important race. Heat number 19 it is then, and a lot on the line for this man, Nicky Pedersen, the reigning world champion, who is fighting for survival in this Grand Prix. He's off the inside in the red helmet colour. Seb Ulemek, gate 2 in blue, looking good for the semi-finals. Andreas Jonsson already there in white. Jarek Hampel, we've already seen him excel tonight, off the outside in yellow.
They all got an opportunity here to take points. Nicky's desperate on the inside.
Away they are from the start of heat 19, and Pedersen has made that first turn. He needs it. He's got to hang on here now. Pedersen has the lead. Coming on the inside. Whoa! Andreas Jonsson riding the race of his life. Get out of the way, Nicky Pedersen. I'm coming through.
And he's doing it in style. Nicky won't be happy. Nicky's still got a couple laps to probably pull him back. But look at the lead he's already getting on him.
Yeah, Jonsson up front and heading for the semi-finals. Nicky Pedersen battling in that second place. Third now coming through in yellow, Jarek Hampel, who gets the better of the man there, Sebastian Ulemek. But the leader is very impressive. Andreas Jonsson looking comfortable. This could be an important point for Hampel in third place, remember. What a race again.
It is. It's all mixed up out there. Everybody's moving around. There's plenty of lines. Andreas found him earlier on in the race and stuck himself right out in front of Nicky Pedersen. Nicky thought it had it all sewn up on the inside, but it's Andreas.
Andreas Jonsson heads through to the semi-finals in style, and Nicky Pedersen is there, and that means that Nicky has just about done enough now to edge into the semi-finals by the skin of his teeth. Jonsson the winner, Nicky Pedersen was second, a big result for him. Jarek Hampel was in third place, he sneaks through as well, and Seb Ulemek at the back. What a ride from Andreas Jonsson. He did it the hard way there.
Yeah, it's all about getting to that first corner. This time of the night, you got to make every point count. Nicky thought he had it, just moves off a little bit. He's staying to the inside. Andreas is getting his wheels in line. But as Nicky goes into turn 3, he moves off into the dirt thinking that's going to be the best place to come through this corner. And this guy right here, Andreas Jonsson from Sweden, takes 3 points.
Yeah, terrific line by Jonsson. Pedersen will have to stay cool, gather his thoughts, because he knows that he's in the semi-final. He will continue in this meeting. And remember, if you get through to the final, your points count for double. So Nicky is hanging on in there. His hopes are still alive. Well, heat number 20 saw Thomas Golub and Greg Hancock knowing that they were already through to the semi-finals of this meeting, and it was a battle between Hancock and Golub all the way. Hancock looking comfortable, Golub's pit crew fairly satisfied with the night's work, but the boys at the back were the British duo of Chris Harris and Scott Nichols, and it was a miserable night for both those riders, as you can see, trailing at the back. Golub taking the victory from Hancock there, with Nichols getting his only point of the night. Polish fans absolutely jubilant then going into the semi-finals. Confirmation of the top 8 with Hancock, Crump, Jonsson, Golub, Sayfutdinov, Hampel, Ulemek and Pedersen. Hancock getting the pick of the gates after finishing top of the pile going into the semi-finals and the business end of the meeting. Lee Adams, a notable absentee, along with Hans Andersen, and Scott Nichols back to the drawing board alongside Alan Rossiter there comparing notes, and Chris Harris, a disappointed British rider.
Well, when you get to this time of the night, it's all about picking the right gates. And you can see from gate 3, there's 10 wins on it. And gate 2, there's been 5. So definitely the middle order is the place to be.
So no surprise that Greg Hancock went for gate number 2. Golub went for gate 3 for the opening semi-final, with Ulemek off 1 and Jarek Hampel going off gate number 4. Jason Crump going for gate 3 then in the second semi-final, and Jonsson off gate 2. Sayfutdinov, sensation in the first meeting, of course, off 1. Nicky Pedersen off the outside. The 2 semi-finals and the grand final are to come. Make sure you join us for that. A warm welcome back to the FIM Automoto European Grand Prix in Leszno, Poland, the second round of the World Speedway Championship. And we're down to the business end, the semi-finals. Who will make it through to the grand final when, remember, points count for double? An important stage of the meeting then. That goes without saying. And off the inside in red, Sebastian Ulemek for Poland. Gate 2 in blue from America, Greg Hancock. Gate 3 in white, Thomas Golub of Poland. And another pole, Jarek Hampel off the outside in yellow.
Well, the American's got to stand up tall if he's going to beat the Polish on their home tracks, and I'm sure he's ready for it. Yeah, here we go. The tapes are going to go up.
First semi-final and they're away. First time of asking. Greg Hancock in blue. Magnificent start. An American amongst 3 Polish stars here in Leszno in this race. Golub has second place right now. And coming around the outside is Jarek Hampel. So it's the experienced guys up front. Hancock, the rider in blue, and Golub, the man in white.
It's all about getting the second place in this race to go to the final. Golub looks over his shoulder and he sees here comes Hampel. Hampel goes up the inside, putting the pressure on him. Golub's got to stick it out wide. Can he hold on to it? Hampel takes it.
Hampel closes the door. Golub spots the move and goes up the inside. Have we got a race on here or what? A magnificent dive from Hampel again up the inside. A place in the grand final is on the line. And Golub has held the line. rider, the teacher, showing the pupil the way to go.
I tell you what, I get excited whenever I see Golub so comfortable, so pushed, and he has a chance just to have a quick glance over his shoulder to see what's going on. Hancock's out front going for the race win.
Yeah, Greg Hancock looking comfortable. Golub just about gets the drop in second place. And Greg Hancock's superb night continues. 3 more points plus a place in the final. Second place, Tomasz Golub. He goes through to the final as well. Jari Kampel's had a good night, though, as a wild card. And Sebastian Ulemek had a decent night as well. His night is ended, though, with that last place in the semi-final.
You know, when you bolt out of that start, Nigel, it's a matter, do you hold the line? Do you go straight to the dirt? Do you get the bike going? Greg makes a great start. Golub has to work really hard by going up as high as he can. As he goes up there, oh, look at that. Straight up the bank of the fence, getting that extra traction, trying to get it, and he does. Hancock's happy, 3 points in the final.
Celebrations in the Hancock pit crew, and quite rightly so. It's been a magnificent night for him. 16 points already. Can he add to that tally with double points in the grand final here in Leszno? The 1997 world champion, who says he'll carry on as long as he believes he can win it again. Second semi-final then, Jason Crump in the white helmet colour. Looking to add a third world title to his CV. Emil Sayfutdinov goes off the inside in red. Andreas Jonsson going off gate 2 in blue. Crump off 3 on 13 points. And Nicky Pedersen hoping to salvage something from his night by making it through to the final as Sayfutdinov's pit crew look on.
This guy right here, Crumpy, picked 8-3. I hope it works for him. He's going to have to rev it up to get it out of that start.
Second semi-final it is then. It's all very tense on the start line. And what a start from Andreas Jonsson in blue. Pedersen's in there. Crump's in there as well. And Crump's coming around the outside and gets the drive and has the lead. Andreas Jonsson is second, the Swede. Here comes Pedersen around the outside. Has he gone too wide? It looks like he has. He lost ground there. And Sayfutdinov is going to put him under pressure now.
What a race we got going on. Sayfutdinov just is about ready to take Nicky, and he does. Nicky's going up high, grabbing whatever traction he can. He's determined to get there, but it means nothing. The race is all about Crumpy out front, and Andreas is holding on to that second spot now, put him into the final.
What a story developing here. Nicky Pedersen, the reigning champion, the man in the yellow helmet there, is in last place in this semi-final. Won't score, won't add to his tally, unless he can get the better of Sayfutdinov in red. Crump's going through, don't worry about that. So is Andreas Jonsson, but look at this battle. In third place as Crump robs the victory.
Look at that. Nicky put Sayfutdinov up there and hung him out the dry, and he steals that third place.
Who knows how important that point for Pedersen might prove to be. But Jason Crump celebrates. He's on his way through to the final. And what a lineup we've got for that grand final now. With Jason Crump taking the victory. Andreas Jonsson also joins him in the final. Third place in the end went to Nicky Pedersen. He's worked hard tonight. And Emil Sayfutdinov, a semi-final appearance in his second full-time GP is still a decent effort. Crump will prepare for the final, though.
Well, it's all going on now. When they get into that corner, Andreas is in the blue helmet, straight up the inside. Look at Nicky try to squeeze between them, but he couldn't do it. The race is on. Crumpy's on the high line. He gets that extra bite down the back straightaway, and as he gets there and the race unfolds, look at this. Nicky's determined. He goes in. Emil's right up on the top, and he just pushes up as far as he can. There's no more track out there, and Nicky steals it. But this guy is in the final.
In great form as well, Jason Crump. Nicky Pedersen knows that his night is over, but that point that he sneaked at the end there, who knows just how important it might be in the final reckoning in the defence of his world title. Emil Sayfutdinov can still reflect on a decent night for him. 9 points in his second Grand Prix.
Disappointed Nicky might be, but it's now about who's going to pick what gate. Gate 3 is at 11 wins, and the blue, Gate 2, Greg's got first choice, goes for the one that he won the semi-final on, and Jason goes for the one he won as well.
Yeah, no major surprise that the guys with the first 2 picks went for the inside 2 gate positions, and what a lineup this is. Jonsson, Hancock, Crump and Golub, 4 nationalities, 3 different continents. That is what World Championship Speedway is all about. What a lineup then for the grand final. Remember, points count for double in the World Championship here in Leszno in the final tonight. We've seen quite a meeting with the boys putting their bikes and their bodies on the line once again.
It's all about it. Can my bike do it? Can I do it? Well, they've had all the races to get to this point. As they line up, Andres on the inside, Greg in the favorite gate position, and Jason in his favorite gate position out of gate 3. And on the outside, almighty Golov. Can he make it work?
Well, the leaders are Hancock and Crump in the inside 2 gate positions with 16 points so far. And a good result for Crump, and he's on his way to the top of the leaderboard. His pit crew watch on, but Crump looking set there to be the new World Championship leader after the second round here in Leszno. And what a start he's made, Jason Crump. Magnificent textbook from gate 3. Hancock's trying to get into the back as Colin comes through in yellow now. A battle for third, wheel to wheel. Jonsson has it at the moment in the red helmet. Hancock will try and come up the inside in blue, but Jason Crump is looking magnificent, in control, and the other 3 riders just starting to bunch up a little bit now.
Just goes to show it's not over until it's over, but Crumpy makes a blistering start straight to the outside. Look at Golov working it. He's trying his hardest to get some energy to pass him. And as the minor places, Hancock's up the inside for one last try.
Hancock having a go, as you say, Sam, but Jason Crump up front is going to collect 6 World Championship points. If it stays like this, that means he will be the new leader of the World Championship as Golov hits the fence with the footrest again on the right-hand side. But at the moment, it looks as though it's Jason Crump from Australia who is going to take the checkered flag and take the lead in the FIM World Speedway Championship. Second place goes to Golov. Jonsson gets that 3rd place, and it's party time in the Jason Crump corner of the Leszno pits area. We salute the new series leader, the twice world champion, Jason Crump, with a superlative performance, top of the leaderboard. And who can stop him from here? He is a determined man. Make no mistake about that. Crump the winner then. Second place going to Thomas Golov, 4 points for him. 3rd place went to Andreas Jonsson for 2 points. And Greg Hancock trailing in at the back, but still a great night for the American. Celebration time then for Jason Crump on one wheel. And what a start it was from the man in white.
You know, when it goes wrong, but when it goes right, it's going right. Jason makes a great start out of gate 3. He leads the pack as they go into turn 3. Golov's focusing on that outside line. He's reaching for it. Here's another view of Jason's great start. Hancock just spins up and doesn't get anyway. Andreas is picking up the inside gate in the red helmet color. As they're coming down the back straightaway, again, Golov is reaching for it, but this guy right now feels like he's got it in control as he crosses the finish line.
Crump's the series leader. Golov was happy with 2nd place as well. Now it's up to Crump to maintain that lead.
Andreas, you worked very hard tonight and nearly got the job done.
You know, spun up a little bit the first meter from the start. Otherwise, I felt like my engines worked really, really good, and definitely from the start as well. I'm so happy. I want to say thank you to my tuner, Fleming, and for my team, you know, Dudy, Seba, and David. Thank you very much.
Thomas, 24 points in the World Championship. 2nd on the night. You put a really good night's work together.
Dobry wieczór, and a very good meeting tonight. And the 2nd place for me is very happy and a lucky day for me. And the congratulations in Crump in the first. This 4 gate is not good in the start. It's no problem. Very happy in the 2nd place.
Jason Crump, huge smile, great result.
Mate, that's exactly what I needed. I'm really happy. I've put a lot of work in this year. I've had tremendous support from my wife and my kids. Thanks, Mel, Mia and Seth. My mechanics, my whole team. We've trimmed down and we mean business this year. So thanks, Jack, Roger, Drew, Finn. Great job with the engines. Thanks to the fans.
So Jason Crump on top of the world, literally 36 points for him, with Andreas Jonsson moving into 2nd and Greg Hancock level with Emil Sayfutdinov in 3rd place. Thomas Golov in 5th place, and the reigning champion Nicky Pedersen level with Fredrik Lindgren in 6th place there. The bottom half of the table, not so good for Hans Andersen in 11th, and Scott Nichols struggling. Top of the podium and top of the world, Jason Crump. We move on to the 3rd round of the World Championship in Gothenburg.